What if I told you that you could completely transform your entire life and all you had to do was add one small practice into your morning, less than 5 minutes a day, right after you wake up? You'd probably think that it was too good to be true because we have literally been conditioned to believe that nothing worth having in life comes easy. But that isn't true. That is a subconscious programming that we have to deprogram. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie and I help people live their best life mentally, physically, spiritually. I help people live happier, healthier, more fulfilling lives. And today is Mindset Monday. Every Monday, I share different actionable tips and tricks to help you hack your mind. We have full control over what goes on in here, but we have to learn how to control what goes on in here. So don't forget to click subscribe because I'm going to blow your mind and then we're going to change your mind. The simple practice of spending less than 5 minutes in the morning to simply write down some things that I'm grateful for has completely transformed my life. When it comes to writing down gratitude, it's really easy. I have some of my gratitude notebooks here and I'm going to read some of the things that I have written down that I'm grateful for to show you how easy this practice could be. On Tuesday, March 7th, I don't know if this was this year or last year. I didn't write down the year. Today, I'm grateful for healing my body, my strength, my resilience, my mind, my soul, my nails, for big releases, for change, for love, for flowers, for me, myself, and for God. Now, I don't know about you, but that is a pretty easy list. I believe this to be an easy list of things that I wrote down there. Thursday, September 8th. This was not this year. This was last year. Today, I'm grateful for my voice, clarity in slowing down, clarity in being clear, for tea, for my brain, my vision, for figuring out what I want, for slow time, for yoga, for incense, for painting, for the sun, for avocados, for happiness, for my body and how strong and capable it is, for my family, for me, myself, and for God. I always end with me, myself, and God. I also have like a stack of these. I have more notebooks that I could find, but that's easy. Writing down what you're grateful for is not hard at all. Where we make it hard is expecting immediate change. We believe that this change is going to happen overnight. It is one of the common mistakes that people make when trying to change their life. I am going to link that video up here. I made a video talking about all of the common mistakes people make when trying to change their life. Taking one day and writing down one thing that you're grateful for is not going to change your life. Taking the time over a few months is going to change your life. Today I'm going to talk about some of the changes that gratitude has brought into my life. Before I was practicing gratitude, I used to be a very angry person. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to believe. People who have met me now, who know me now, they can't believe that I used to be an angry person. But I also told a story in my video about the misconception of the shadow self. I used to keep a cup of pennies in my car. So if someone made me angry on the road, I would throw pennies at them. That's how angry I was, that I was preemptively planning to be angry at people on the road, and I would have this stack of pennies ready to go in case someone made me angry, and I would be able to throw the pennies at their car. Now, I am not that way now. If someone wants to cut me off, I'm like, go ahead. Sometimes now I even will respect at how they cut me off, because sometimes people just cut you off so beautifully that you just have to like respect it. I can't even be mad at you. Prior to adopting gratitude, I used to be very angry. I used to be a victim. I started picking up my gratitude practice during COVID. If you're familiar with me, you know that before COVID, I used to be a travel marketer and a travel photographer. I got paid to travel the world, to see some of the most beautiful places and spaces all over the world, to photograph them. It was a really wonderful time in my life. COVID rolled around. Initially, we were closing for 2 weeks during COVID. As the weeks went on, I just slowly watched like everything I had spent the 5 years prior, just like declining and declining. Email after email from client after client citing the natural disaster clause, citing the act of God clause in our contracts, and they were just canceling my contracts. Not only did I watch my business go down the drain, but I also watched my 6 figures of income for 2020 go down the drain. So I went from making 6 figures to making nothing in a matter of weeks. As someone who has been a victim mentally, that was really hard to watch. I started to really feel bad for myself. I was just like laying in bed all the time. I was living alone, so I had like no interaction outside of what was going on the phone. And I woke up one day somewhere between like April and May, and I just didn't want to feel bad for myself anymore. And I recognized that even though I had lost my entire business, I still had it pretty good compared to most people. Most people around the world had it way worse than me. They were losing family members. They lived in apartment buildings and they weren't able to leave or go outside. I had a backyard during COVID. Like, having a backyard during COVID was an amazing gift. It was such a wonderful gift that I had. I really wanted to stop feeling so bad for myself. That's when I picked up gratitude. The first thing I would do in the morning before I touched my phone, because that's another thing, I started to notice how the news and social media and the phone was really pulling at me and making me feel more sad, making me feel more negative. I didn't want to feel that way anymore. So I knew that I had to make a change. And the first change that I made was starting to practice gratitude. I also stopped watching the news. I talked about that in my #1 tip to program your subconscious mind. If you're looking to program your subconscious mind, you have to watch that video as well. I just started writing down the things that I was grateful for. Even though it seemed like there were a lot of reasons to not be grateful in my life, I really had so many reasons to be grateful, and I wanted to remind myself of them. That very simple practice, starting that practice then, has completely shifted my entire life. We're talking now almost 4 years later. I am a different person, and it all started with gratitude. If it wasn't for gratitude, I would not be here today making these videos. So that is how long and how far it has come. I know when you hear me say 4 years, that sounds like a really long time, but I would say give it a month. Give it 1 month before you will actually notice a difference. 1 month turns into 2 months, turns into 4 months, turns into a half of a year, and before you know it, you're a different person. That time is going to go by regardless, so we really need to let go of the idea that things are going to happen overnight. They're just not. Like, go watch the video about the common mistakes people make when trying to change their life. Don't fall into those traps. Don't put yourself into a negative mindset about how hard it's going to be to change. Change isn't that hard. I also made a video about that. Change isn't that hard. It's our belief about change that is hard. Gratitude. It's not going to happen overnight. Don't expect it to happen overnight. Give it some time. But in the interim, it does help to make the everyday better. Say, give it about a month before you really see, like, oh shit, I'm reacting differently. Or, oh shit, that doesn't bother me as much as it used to. Or, oh shit, I can find the positive spin on this. Gratitude really helps to do that. Without further ado, some of the changes that gratitude has helped me to make in my life. First and foremost, I went from victim to victor. I am the victor of my life. I have my life in my hands. Gratitude has given me an empowerment. It has helped me to believe in myself. I used to be the victim of my circumstances. Now I am more resilient, and whatever is thrown at me, I'm like, okay, I can handle it. Whatever it is, like, all right, if that's the change we're rolling with, that's the change we're rolling with. Whereas before, something bad would happen and be like, oh, of course, something bad is happening to me. I don't see those things that way anymore. Piggybacking off of going from being the victim to the victor is finding the good in everything, even the bad. Before, when something bad would happen, I would be a victim of it and it's the end of the world and oh my God, my life is ending. Now I look at it like, okay, it's a shift. If it's not working out that way, it's not meant to work out that way. It's going to be ultimately for the greater good. And now I understand that sometimes bad things have to happen for the greater good. And I trust that. When seemingly bad things happen, I don't fold under them anymore. I just move with it. Practicing gratitude every day has also substantially reduced my negativity. I used to be so negative. I used to find the negative spin on everything. And now I look to find the positive spin on everything. I am sometimes even annoyingly optimistic. When giving advice to friends or family, or when working with clients, I will often ask them, do you want me to be an ear for you right now? Or do you want me to give you my optimistic spin? Sometimes when you're down in the dumps, you can't have the optimism. You just want to get your negativity out. I've even trained myself to like reel my optimism in, because not everyone is in a space for optimism. Journaling my gratitude and cultivating a gratuitous mindset has really transformed the way that I'm able to look at things. I see things in a much better light now. I see things in a bright light now. And jumping off of that, since practicing gratitude every day, it makes me appreciate everything. So I have now cultivated my mind to be always grateful. I cry often because I'm grateful. Just last Friday, I went to yin yoga. Yin yoga is like a slow meditative yoga practice, and I sat down and I got into my meditative state and I just started crying because I was just so grateful for the space to feel my feelings. I might start crying now because I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for everything. And that is one of the biggest changes that journaling my gratitude every day has done for me. It has made me appreciate everything. I appreciate everything so deeply. I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful to be alive as me. I would not change anything. I would not trade any portion of my life, any facet of my life, any facet of my being for anything that anyone else has. That appreciation, that deep appreciation for myself, for my life, for my surroundings, for my friends, for my family, for my world, it comes from gratitude. It comes from journaling gratitude. My favorite part of how gratitude has changed my life is that I am now more relaxed. I used to be on edge about everything. I was like ready to fight, not physically fight, but like argue. I can't fight. I've gotten in 2 fights in my life, like 2 physical fights in my life, and both times I got beat up. So I can't fight. I'm not a fighter, but I can fight verbally, and I was often ready to go verbally. Now it's just not worth it. Like the energy that it takes to be angry or to be on edge is just, it's so much, and it's just so not worth it. Since developing a gratuitous mindset, it helped me to be just much more relaxed in my overall life. I can find relaxation with ease. I used to struggle to relax. I would go to get a massage and they would tell me like, you need to relax. I couldn't even relax in a relaxing setting. Now I schedule and I prioritize my relaxation. One of the better aspects of journaling my gratitude is that I no longer have anxiety. I used to suffer from anxiety. I used to be prescribed Xanax for anxiety. Since practicing gratitude, I really don't have anxiety anymore. I can't remember the last time I took a Xanax. I used to take it almost weekly. I used to have multiple points in each month where I would feel so anxious that like I need to take a Xanax to calm this down, and I don't suffer from that anymore. And a large part of that has to do with just practicing gratitude and finding that gratuitous mind state, learning to appreciate everything and finding the good in everything all stems from practicing gratitude. And those mindsets of appreciating everything and finding the good in everything really helps you to not suffer from anxiety. It has reprogrammed my mind to no longer be anxious. Jumping off of no longer being anxious, I also now overthink my faith instead of overthinking my fear. Also a concept that I dug into in my manifesting series. If you're looking to manifest things, you really need to cultivate the right mindset to do it. And overthinking your faith instead of overthinking your fear is a great way to manifest more. That mindset of thinking like what could go right instead of thinking what could go wrong has really developed out of simply writing down that I'm grateful for a few things every morning. Another really positive way that gratitude has changed my life is that I can handle sadness better. I don't really suffer from anxiety anymore. That was more of like a condition, but sadness is something that we can't escape. Like there's no such thing as life without sadness. If you're living a life without sadness, you're not living a life. Like human nature is to experience the full spectrum of feelings and emotions. Sadness and depression are just some of those inevitabilities of living a human life. When I would fall into a depressive state, I used to become a really big victim of it, and it wouldn't just be like a day or two, it would be like weeks or even months of just feeling down, feeling negative, feeling depressed. And now when those sad feelings come up, I just allow them to be, and I just understand that they are a part of life and they just want to be felt and they just want to run their course. Strongly believe that journaling gratitude and creating a gratuitous mindset is the reason why I'm able to handle the sad things a lot easier now than I used to be able to. Another really cool thing about having a gratuitous mindset and how gratitude has changed my life is that I don't get knocked down as easily. I used to get really down and I think a great example of this is that it is now the end of September and I have only gained about 200 or so subscribers on this channel since starting these videos in the beginning of January. And if this were a few years ago, I would have stopped a long time ago because I wasn't seeing results. I trust that this is where I'm supposed to be, and even if like those followers or subscribers aren't rolling through as much as I would like, I understand that it's part of the process, and I'm not going to let something like a numbers or a followers or subscribers dictate what I am doing in my life or dictate how I'm operating my life. I'm not going to let that knock me down. I don't let things knock me down that easily. If this were a few years ago, I would have abandoned this channel months ago. And the most important way that gratitude has changed my life is that I have deeper trust. I have a deep trust and a deep faith. It's unwavering. And going back to not letting things like not a lot of subscribers or not a lot of views knock me down, I trust and I have faith that making these videos and sharing these things is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. That's all I need to know. My trust and my faith is so solid. It all stems from gratitude. Cultivating a mindset that finds gratuity in everything and can find the positive spin on everything, it just shows you how everything always works out. And when you're able to see that everything always works out, you have this like deeper trust and this deeper faith. I don't know if you want to call it God's plan, the universe's plan, the divine plan, whatever you want to call it. For me, I call it God's plan. Has my hair been like that the whole time? Okay, I trust that. I have cultivated such a deep trust that nothing else matters. Gratitude can take you from here to here without actually taking you from here to here. Gratitude can really take you from A to Z. Now, physically, you may have only gone from A to B, but when your mentality goes from A to Z, you don't care about where you are. You don't care about where you are in relation to other people. You compare yourself to other people less. You really are able to focus more on yourself. When you're focusing on yourself and you are working towards your own goals, your whole life becomes a lot easier. That ease comes with just simply writing down some of the things that you are grateful for. They don't need to be super detailed. You can literally write down, I'm grateful for the dinner that I had last night. I'm grateful that I have hot water in my house. I'm grateful that I have air conditioning when it's really humid outside. I'm grateful that I have socks on my feet. I'm grateful that I have a home. There are so many things that we have to be grateful for that we take for granted. Do you have electricity in your house? Do you have legs? Can you walk? Do you have ears? Can you hear? Do you have eyes? Can you see? There are things that we have that other people don't have, and we take these things for granted. And when we start to reprogram our mind to be grateful for the things that we typically take for granted, it completely changes our life. My life is a testament to that. I am a different person living a different life simply because I decided to start writing down gratitude one day. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name is Jackie, and I help people feel more alive mentally, physically, spiritually. I help people live their best life to create a life that looks good on the outside but feels good on the inside. I make new videos multiple times a week, so don't forget to click subscribe. Let's change our lives together, and I will see you at the end of the week.